to Anfield agenda on the day that Liverpool signed DIOGO JOTA from Wolves for a fee rising up to about 45, 46 million pound, and obviously Kylian HOEVER going in the opposite direction. As you can see, I've got a very special guest today. Delighted to say I'm joined by Dave Azzopardi, founding member of Talking Wolves and researcher for Football Manager. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm brilliant. I'm not going to lie. It's been one hell of a 24 hours, mate, being a Liverpool fan. Unbelievably, you probably wouldn't believe this, but there was a little bit of petulance growing in our fan base. We won the league at the canter. Things are going well, but we didn't see those signings coming. And then all of a sudden, 24 hours is a very crazy time in football. And look, there's loads for us to get through, Dave. I want to talk about your season moving forward. Obviously, I want to talk about this deal, but our viewers are going to want to know what exactly are Liverpool getting in DIOGO JOTA?
Well, DIOGO was a very, very good footballer, I think. He came to Wolves 3 years ago when we were in the Championship. He just had a season with Porto on loan from Atletico Madrid, playing Champions League football, playing quite regularly for Porto. So for him to drop down to the Championship at the time was quite a surprise in itself. I think Wolves signed him for just under £15 million. And I think he was our top goal scorer that season in all competitions. So obviously we walked that league, got promoted. First season in the Championship again. First season in the Premier League, finished second top goal scorer behind Raul Jimenez. And then last season as well, despite him in some Wolves' eyes not having a great season, finishing second top goal scorer again. So his goals in them, playing predominantly as a left winger, or if we played with two strikers, he'd play up front with Jimenez. Last season, he was a little bit inconsistent. He had a spell of probably 3 or 4 games before lockdown where he was untouchable, he was unbelievable. And then after lockdown, he really struggled to break back into the team. And I think that's happened again this year, this season. Nuno wants to change how we play, our system and so on. And it sounds like Jota's not going to quite get the game time that I think he would want. As a winger, we've got Adama Traore, Pedro Neto, and Daniel Podence all ahead of him now. So I think Jota knows he wants regular football. And even as a backup, if he's a backup at Wolves, or a backup at Liverpool, Premier League champions, I know probably which one I'd prefer as well. So in terms of how he plays, though, such a quick player, quite deceivingly quick. You know, he's one of those players that on the ball, he's so quick with the ball. He's so aggressive. He's so hard to challenge and tackle. Like defenders just bounce off him. It's crazy. And he'll win a lot of fouls for Liverpool. And I think with how you guys play with the front three, I think he's going to be adequate competition for Mane and Salah. Probably not at that level yet. But very adequate competition and backup, and possibly even a player that could fight Firmino for a place in the striker position. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he fits into Liverpool's plans. He was really good for Wolves in the Europa League last season, which obviously for you guys in the Champions League, it will be intriguing to see how he gets on. But as I say, his main issue is consistency, but his ceiling is very, very high. A lot of Wolves fans expected him to become our player of the season last year. He didn't quite hit the heights I think a lot of us wanted, but the potential is still definitely there.
Well, you touched on the parallel to Bobby Firmino, and that's exactly what I thought of when I heard of this signing. It's one of those that wasn't on any Liverpool fans' lips. There wasn't much talk of it in the media. And then all of a sudden the deal's getting announced, and I was sitting here thinking that is genius. I can absolutely see where the DIOGO JOTA fits into Jurgen Klopp's thinking. Versatile, as you said, can play right across the front three. And there is almost shades of Bobby Firmino about him. He's got a very high work rate. Nuno demands a lot of his players, and I think we'll get the exact same. One thing that raised a few eyes, obviously, was the fee. Now, we spoke off air beforehand, and the fee does seem a bit high, but that's because of the way the deal's structured. From my end, what I'm hearing is about just under 10% up front, somewhere about 4.5 million, and the rest structured over the course of the deal. And you said it's not unusual for Wolves to enter into these type of deals.
No. It sounds like, and obviously I've read a little bit more into it. I've seen it before, like when you look at clubs' accounts and stuff like that, the installments that Wolves do is they do it quite a lot, and a lot of deals are put in installments. I think a lot of clubs do it, to be fair, but it's probably not documented as much as you would expect. But this one is a really strange one. I think, Nuno said at the start of summer that he would have been, as long as Wolves got an adequate amount of money for Jota, he would have been happy to move him on. I think Wolves would have accepted a fee of 35 million up front. And like you said earlier on, I don't think Liverpool would have had that cash to just pass across straight away. So Wolves have obviously brokered and structured a deal with Liverpool for 45 million with add-ons, but to pay just 10%, so about 4.5 million in the first year, and obviously spread over a number of years. So yeah, I think like Helder Costa, when Wolves sold him to Leeds, they're doing the same deal. I think 15 million across 3 years. So it's not unusual for Wolves, but I think Liverpool are getting themselves a good deal, and obviously spread over a number of years. It'll be really interesting to see how it works out and if he can live up to that overall fee.
What's the feeling from Wolves fans about this one? Because we'll touch on Kylian HOEVER in a minute, because there was actually some sadness from our side, from a lot of Liverpool fans, because we hold him in quite high esteem. But from the Wolves' point of view, there was a lot of talk about Traore. Obviously, I had heard that his agent was trying to get that £63 million price tag lowered, and we all know agents love to move players on. But it did come as a shock to me that Jota was the one that was likely to move. I'd heard links with Jimenez and Atletico Madrid going back a while as well. Obviously, a lot of clubs interested in Adama, but from Wolves fans, are they disappointed to see him go? Do they think it's a fair deal?
It's a bit of a mixed reaction in the fan base, to be fair. Like you say, it was a deal that came out of nowhere. That, like most Wolves deals this year, I think every single one of our transfers, we've signed 4 players now, and all of them have been announced within 48 hours of the first report dropping. So HOEVER was the same owner yesterday. Fabio Silva, when Wolves signed him a couple of weeks ago, was the same day. Marcel was within 24 hours. So all of them are just so quick. And same with the Jota deal. I assume this was going on behind closed doors, possibly for a week or so, hence why he hadn't played for Wolves in either the Cup or the first game of the season. But yeah, it's a real split between the fans. There was a number of fans that I think are fairly happy with the fee just because of his inconsistency over the last year or so. But then there's a big number of fans as well that know how good he can be. So I think they're just, and I think part of that is they're worried that we're not going to sort of replace Jota. I don't think we're in the market, and it's been said that we're not looking to directly replace him right now. We may wait till January to do that. So I think that's probably where a lot of the worry comes from with Wolves fans. But it is a real split in the fan base. You'll probably go on Twitter and see some fans that are happy with it and some fans that are pretty disappointed with the move.
From our side, obviously, there's a massive Portuguese connection at Wolves, as we know. But from our side, we have Pep Linders, who worked at Porto. I think he coached Ruben Neves for 6 years at underage level there. And he reached out to his contacts and seemed to get nothing but glowing references about Jota as a person and the way he conducts himself. What's your take on that side of things from a Wolves perspective? Has he always conducted himself well? Any problems that you think we need to know about?
No, that sounds about right. He seems very down to earth. I've met him a couple of times at like ceremonies and stuff. Never obviously much personal, but yeah, he's never been one to cause much trouble. A lot of the Portuguese lads that we've signed are just so level-headed. Like they don't get in. You look at the young England lads or whatever happened, on the international breaks. But the Portuguese lads, like a lot of them now, Jota's missus is, they're younger than me. And Jota's missus is pregnant. Ruben Neves is having his 3rd kid already. It's ridiculous. Like they're so mature and down to earth, and they just know what they're doing. But their work rate is bang on as well, like you've said earlier. So all they want to do is get their head down, play football, and show what they're about.
The other side of this deal is, of course, Kylian HOEVER moving in your direction, and obviously with you guys losing Doherty, who, fellow Irishman, I'm very proud of how his career's progressed from where he was in Dublin going right through, and to see him go to Jose Mourinho's Spurs, you were missing somebody for that right-hand side, and I think you're getting a player here who can play at right back, play right centre-back, and even play as right wing-back. The fee does look a little bit inflated, but, some of that is because of the potential that's there. How are you guys feeling about the arrival of Kylian HOEVER?
It's a bit of a quiet one in terms of, because obviously not a lot of Wolves fans have seen him play. I think he made his debut, I might be wrong here, against us in the FA Cup a couple of years ago. And I've only seen short clips of that match because obviously it was a couple of years ago, but a couple of clips came up on social media of him coming on the pitch and just driving forward about 30 yards with the ball. A 16-year-old lad having the confidence to do that in his first game at a Premier League ground. But yeah, I've heard glowing references from lots of from Liverpool fans about him. It's a bit muted in the Wolves end because we don't know a huge amount about him. But it's someone that I'm expecting to be in and around the Wolves first team, most probably as a right wing back this season. It wouldn't surprise me to see Wolves in the market for another one, just have a little bit of support there. But don't be surprised to see him play a large amount of Premier League games for Wolves this season. It'll be really interesting to see if he can make the step up to regular Premier League minutes.
One thing that was very strange about this entire deal from both sides was how well both clubs kept this under wraps. We spoke about it earlier must have been going on for a week or so behind the scenes, and there was shades from our side of this about like Fabinho's arrival from Monaco when he came into Liverpool. That came absolutely out of nowhere, and I don't know if it's George Mendes. I don't know if he's able to keep things under wrap, but I have to say both clubs did conduct themselves really well during this transfer. It's rather unusual.
Yeah, as I said, Wolves are just ridiculously quiet. Like the chairman even had to come out and say like 99% of the rumours you're reading are completely false. There's no reports in it. But like I said, for all of our permanent transfers, first team transfers have happened within 48 hours of the first news dropping. So it's ridiculous. And we were linked with Maitland-Niles quite seriously earlier in the window. And part of me thinks that deal broke down because it was leaked quite early. And Wolves just don't like doing their business like that. They like to keep it private, like to keep it quiet. No doubt that, as I said, the Liverpool, like when I was reading the news yesterday, it was this fee and then this fee and this fee and this instalment was included. That wouldn't have all happened over 2 hours last night. That must have been going on all week. So the fact that it wasn't included on Monday, the fact that he turned up to Molineux for our cup game but wasn't in the squad on Thursday, I think we knew it was happening. Nuno was so blunt to the journalists about it on Thursday because they were saying, why isn't Jota involved? And he got asked about 3 or 4 times and he gave the same response. And it's obvious now why. He even had to apologise to the journalists today because, you know, he obviously couldn't say anything. But Wolves, with their transfer business, is so stum. It's good. But I think they know as soon as it starts leaking to the press, other clubs are going to get interested and fees are going to rise. So it's a good way to do their business, I suppose.
Good news for you guys as well. On that managerial front, he did commit himself to a new contract. And I have to say, himself, Chris Wilder, I think they've been a breath of fresh air to the Premier League. You guys must be over the moon about that as well.
Yeah, definitely. There was rumours, you know, he had 1 year left on his deal. And I think he made it pretty obvious to the board after we lost out in the Europa League that he wanted to bolster the squad. We had a really small squad last year. It's not much bigger right now, but we've added a little bit of quality. So I think the board knew they had to spend big money this summer to back him and keep him, and he signed the contract. And that, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but could be the biggest transfer of the transfer window for us, really, the biggest signing of the transfer window. Sorry.
Liverpool fans won't forgive me if I don't talk to you a little bit about our fellow Scouser, your captain, Connor Cody. How much has he settled in and how well has he settled in at Wolves? I mean, there's loads of shouts. He was linked with Arsenal for a while. A couple of Liverpool fans have said to me to bring him back, but genuinely, I think he's in the right place. He seems to be loving life, loving football, speaks very well, looks like a captain these days. Do you love him? That's all I want to know, Dave. Do you love him?
Mate, he's brilliant. Obviously, we signed him up. I think it was from Huddersfield a number of years ago. Obviously, after he left Liverpool, and to be fair, he went through the brunt of it. Really, he played as central midfield, and he was shoved out to right back. And then Nuno came in, and he obviously identified him straight away as someone that he wanted to sit in the middle of his back three. And obviously, we went up the first year under Nuno. We had the first year in the Premier League with Cody there as well as captain. And I think over time, everyone was just expecting Cody to be one of the first players to be replaced in that team, just because of, you know, he's not Portuguese and, you know, all this stuff. And he's not like an England sort of gifted talent and all this. But genuinely now, he's just part of the furniture there. And he's almost irreplaceable with how well he plays. His leadership, his passing is unbelievable, by the way. And it's great to see him finally get an England call up as well. I think Southgate, he played that back five, a couple of years ago, and he's brought it back. I know England didn't play great the other week, but the fact that Connor Cody was able to sit in the heart of that defence, and I think Southgate knows, and he praised Cody so much, I think he's going to be part of that England setup ongoing now, which is brilliant. But yeah, fantastic guy. And you don't even need to support Wolves. You can just watch his press conferences and his interviews, and you know how good of a captain and how good of a person he is.
Ladies and gents, we're going to let Dave go in a few minutes, but if you guys have any questions, please do put it into the chat for Dave, maybe about Jota, maybe what we can expect, anything like that, and I'll pull it up. I just want to get your thoughts on the season ahead for Wolves, Dave, because last year, that Europa League campaign was one hell of a mammoth run, mate. You guys started, I don't know, you probably started 12 years ago, but the looks of it, it seemed to go on forever.
It was like, obviously with lockdown, it was like 13, 14 months long the season. It was ridiculous. Like I remember when the Premier League season was still happening, I was getting notifications on this day last year, and we were playing Europa League like the year prior. It was crazy. And we had some great journeys, and I was quite lucky enough to go on some of the away days. So I went to Belfast, I went to Porto, I went to Spain, had some great away days, and obviously for Wolves fans, it's our first European journey in a long time. And although we're not in it this year, I'm sure we want to go on it again soon. But yeah, crazy season. I think a lot of fans were disappointed that we didn't get Europe again next year because we were in a great last year. Sorry, because we were in a great position to do so. But you know what? To finish 7th, to finish a quarterfinalist in the Europa League, I still think all in all it wasn't too bad of a season.
A couple of questions for you. One, not really football related, but sure, we'll pull it up for the laugh. Mark the Hitman Caldwell says, "Where did you get the Wolves light?" It is magnificent, by the way.
Someone on Facebook was selling them. It was about 50 quid, and I thought, "Oh, do I get it?" I thought, you know what, I'll get it, because I thought if I don't get it now, I'm never going to get it again. So it was sat on the floor for about 6 months, but I decided, you know what, I'll put it up now. So yeah, it's a nice little backdrop.
It's class. I have to say, I really like it. It's catching my eye there as I'm watching. It's 50 quid. I think it's money well spent, Dave. Next one up, we have Rafa, who wants to know, who do you see playing right back for Wolves this season?
Well,
or right wing back, excuse me.
Yeah, it's all right. Obviously at the moment it's a Darmatroy, all right, which I don't think long term is going to be great. He was okay against Sheffield United, but he was a little bit shaky. At the moment, it's going to be HOEVER, I think. He's not available on Monday against Manchester City. But I think ongoing, as it stands with no other signings coming in, it is going to be the Liverpool boy to come in and play right wing back.
It's going to be interesting to see him. He already looks like he settled in well. Give him the number 2 shirt, if my memory's correct. There at Wolves.
Number 2, yeah. Doc's old number, yeah.
Carl Rimmer wants to know, where do you think Wolves will finish this season? Because I have to say, it was very unlucky last year. You guys really did make a push, and I think there's a couple of teams that suffered from the lockdown, but I think everyone is expecting you guys again to push for the Europa League, maybe even Champions League places, because United are a shambles, and it's beautiful to see.
Yeah. I'm hoping for a top 6, top 7 finish. I think it depends on our start of the season, because our pre-season was so broken. I think if we can hit the ground running, I think we'll be on for a good season. My worry would be that the teams like your Spurs and Arsenal, who didn't have a great season, they're going to come up, go all guns blazing and get the top 6 almost back to normal again. But the fact that some of the big boys are already starting to drop points gives me a little bit more faith. So I'll put my neck out on the line and say we'll squeeze into a 6th place finish this season.
Not too shabby. And for us, how do you think our title defence is going to go, looking from an outsider's point of view?
It'll be interesting. I think City will come back stronger, I think. You guys have got the quality. You're adding quality as well, such as Thiago, such as Jota, I think is going to be a brilliant option off the bench, most probably for you. So, yeah, I think you guys have got a good chance of retaining that title again.
I'm not going to lie, man. That 30-year wait was hard. It was long. I mean, I was a baby. I was 7 or 8 years of age last time Liverpool won the league. Any more business we can expect from Wolves before the window closes? Any surprises?
I think there'll be 2 or 3 more transfers. Names, I don't know, because as I said, it just happens like that. So another right wing back wouldn't surprise me. Possibly another forward, like a winger attacker, sort of to fill that void left by Jota. And then possibly another central midfielder or central defender. 2 or 3 more signings for Wolves, but fortunately I can't put any names on them right now.
We touched again offline about a rumour that was rather random and just thrown out there quickly, and that was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain to Wolves. And you said you did your research on it, you didn't come up with much.
No, nothing down like the Wolves end. There was nothing on it really. I think there was one guy obviously on Twitter that posted, and a couple of websites had jumped on that, but yeah, nothing this end. I think it'd be a good option for Wolves, whether that would be in midfield or I even mentioned to you, possibly even as a right wing back. But yeah, there was nothing too concrete on that transfer.
And just I want to ask you this, because I often watch Wolves playing, and sometimes I think it must be frustrating at times as a Wolves fan because of how compact and how well drilled Nuno has them. Are you expecting maybe a little bit of a change this season, go a bit more attacking?
Yeah, I think that's what Nuno was teased and what he's expecting. We were very counter-attacking over the last 2 years. But it sounds like this year Nuno wants to try and dominate games a little bit more, have a bit more possession, and just frustrate teams a little bit more and pressing them forward. I think we're capable of doing it at times last season, although it was great watching us score some counter-attacking goals towards the end of last season where you could see the tiredness kicking in. It was quite frustrating and quite boring to watch. But yeah, I'm hoping this season we can go out and try and win games and start putting teams to the sword. We're such a good team in the Championship and even the first couple of years of the Premier League, but we never quite put teams to the sword. We're one of those teams that gets 1 or 2 goal lead and sits back and tries to hold on to it. I'd love to see us put 4 or 5 goals past a team this season. Hopefully West Bromwich Albion, but who knows?
I hate West Brom. I'm not going to lie to you. That club will always have an awful bang of Tony Pulis off it for me, man. I just can't take them. I want to just ask you about one more club's transfer business, if I can, before I let you go. And that is, of course, free spending Frank Lampard and Chelsea. I mean, they've gone out there, they've dropped some money, mate. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think they're putting a lot of pressure on Frank and on the club. They've signed some good players, to be fair. I think they've spent the money fairly well, but I still don't think they've got the quality to topple the likes of Man City and Liverpool. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he gets on. And just for Frank's sake, I hope Abramovich doesn't, sack him, if he doesn't quite hit the heights that he's expecting. But maybe 2 or 3 years down the line, he could start to, try and challenge. But I can't see it this year, if I'm honest.
And looking ahead to the content coming up on Talking Wolves, what can people expect? Obviously, we're going to put the links in the description and everything. It's lovely, by the way, to meet you. I don't think I said this on the stream yet. It's always nice to touch out and reach other fans because, there's a lot of us doing this. So the more of us we can get together, the better. But what can we expect from Talking Wolves this season?
So, yeah, we do obviously the transfer updates. I tend to do either updates if things aren't quite getting finalised yet. I'll do videos on the rumours, videos on the players like today. Did a video on the whole Jota saga and so on. But then your standard match previews, match reactions I tend to do. And we get other fans on the channel to give their thoughts as well. So your normal stuff. But if you ever see a crazy Wolves scoreline or you're intrigued to see how the Wolves game panned out, obviously come and check us out. And I always like to try and give an honest opinion. I think that's what I'm fairly known as. If Liverpool came to Molyneux and smashed us, I'm not going to say, Liverpool were lucky. I'll tell the truth. So, yeah. But yeah, Talking Wolves on YouTube.
Massive advocate for fan content, I have to say. I love it. And I think it's great to see that people are really tuning in now, really starting to see, because as much as people, Sky and BT, want to dip their toe in the market, I don't think they'll ever get just the real passion and raw passion that comes from what we do. And sometimes a little bit of language slips in, but that's okay, because that's how football fans are. But Dave, I really thank you for giving up your time, mate. I know you're probably inundated with the Jota stuff and everything from Liverpool fans, because there's probably about 10,000 of us doing this stuff. So right, I really appreciate you taking the time. Hopefully we can catch up when we play Wolves later on in the season.
For sure, I
wish you guys sincerely all the best for the season ahead, and look after our boy in Kylian HOEVER, because he's gone places.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Really appreciate it, Dave. Thank you very much, mate.
Guys. Cheers.
Ladies and gents, I'm going to carry on. Dave's going to have to leave us, but I'm going to carry on doing what we're doing. Massive shout out to him. Do go and check out Talking Wolves, Cheers, by the way. Great channel. See you, Dave. Take care, buddy.
See you guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Right, folks, it's just you and I now, so let me just fix this here. Just move this forward a bit. Right, anything that you want to get into the chat, put it in. It is just you and I for the remainder of the stream. I'm absolutely delighted. As you can see today, DIOGO JOTA was presented with a number 20 shirt at Liverpool. Absolutely fantastic 24 hours for us Reds. Just as I finished up last night, a lot of you guys probably weren't watching, but just as I finished up our stream, it was announced. So I went back on, did a 17-minute video on it. I love this one. Thank you for the super chat. Mohammed said, who stole John W. Henry's credit card? Apart from that one, though, mate, apart from who stole his credit card, there's also the fact about what was in the cake. Do you know what I mean, man? What was in the cake? That's what I want to know about it. Loads, as I said, loads of people coming into the chat. Thank you very much for being with us. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Any questions you have on Jota or what's going on at Liverpool, please do let me know in the chat. I'll do my best to get through them. I mean, how can we be unhappy right now? We'll talk about Kabak as well, that centre-back from Schalke that you guys have been asking about. There was something that came out last night. I'm going to just grab a tweet while I have you guys on here. Something that came out right when we were finishing up last night as well, before we did the Jota stream, to suggest that there was... Where is this thing gone now? Is it that one? No, sorry, I've lost it. Yeah, there's talk that he could be available privately for 25 million if Liverpool actually pony up the dough. Now, I've yet to see concrete interest, but we do know that the centre-back area is the one that Liverpool are going to be talking about next. I don't have any ideas. I mean, the Kabak thing, he was absolutely slaughtered last night against Bayern Munich in that 8-0 defeat, gave away a penalty as well. I only got a chance to watch the highlights of that game, so I'm not going to pick apart his performance, but it's absolutely class. What a time it is right now to be a Red, ladies and gentlemen. Jota wearing the number 20 shirt, Thiago wearing the number 6 shirt. It doesn't get much better. What have you got? Here's a question. What do you think about Kylian HOEVER leaving? I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit disappointed. He looked like a very promising young player, and all the talk all week from us was obviously about the disappointment in the potential loss of Raheem Brewster, and we were talking about that, whether it be to Wolves or Crystal Palace. But then out of nowhere, we hear this deal for Kylian HOEVER included as part of the Jota deal. And look, I think Liverpool have got a very good price for him. Fee rising up to, I think, maybe £13.5 million in total, with a 15% sell-on clause down the line. So if he became a £50 million fullback, Liverpool will eventually bank over 20 million quid for a kid that I think we spent 90 grand for when we signed him. It is a strange one, I've got to say. Between him and Sepp van den Berg, who both arrived at roughly the same time, he seems to be the one that's been progressing a bit quicker. So maybe with Neco Williams coming in and showing that he's going to be fighting for the right back spot with Trent, maybe Klopp just couldn't guarantee the guy the playing time, and maybe he just thought it was fair in his career to move him on and give him an opportunity. And look, at Wolves, he's joining a very good club where he's going to get a chance to prove himself. But Jota, ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're here to talk about, isn't it? Jota's going to give us so many options. He is very tactically astute. His pressing game will be on fleek. Is that the right word? Are we still using on fleek? It'll be great anyway. And as Dave touched on earlier on, apart from giving cover, obviously, to Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah, he's going to come in, he's going to pressurise Bobby Firmino for that starting spot through the centre as well. And this is a hallmark of Jurgen Klopp's signings. He does like players who can play in numerous positions, and that's one thing you're going to get. Right, what's this one? Hope we see Thiago tomorrow, said Prometheus. I don't think we will see him tomorrow, mate, if I'm being honest with you. He has been registered in time, so he is available to play against Chelsea, but I'd be surprised. Maybe he'll get onto the bench. I don't know. He is going to be travelling down to Stamford Bridge, or maybe has travelled already down to Stamford Bridge with the lads. Jota is sick, said somebody else. United lost, yeah. We can all take a little moment to just laugh at that, can't we? The whole penalty stuff, Gary Neville losing his mind was the best for me. As I was doing that, watching that game earlier on, sorry, I didn't do a watch-along, just sitting back watching the game, hearing Gary Neville whinging about the penalty and about the retake. It's almost as if Manchester United can't be held to the rules, and poor old Gary Neville was losing his mind. It was great. I loved every minute of it, I'm not going to lie. Palace fully deserved their victory as well, so well done to them. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, by the way, we will be live tomorrow, 4 p.m. I'm going to be joined by Conor Crosby for the watch-along of the Reds trip to Stamford Bridge to take on Chelsea. It's going to be a belter of a game. Don't forget to join us. Make sure you've got your notifications turned on for it as well. Hit that subscribe button. You can probably see over the last day alone, Anfield Agenda have passed 1,000 new subscribers. So welcome to each and every one of you guys who are joining the family. And it is a family on our channel, folks. So if you're new to us, please do hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the video as well. Also, don't forget to check out our Flick chat group, which is free for you guys. There's a link in the description. Download that. Come over, talk to Reds offline. We do polls on there, asking your opinion on stuff. We do quizzes and that as well. We'd love to see you over there. The group's grown to almost 600 people now in the Flick chat group. So, as I said, it's completely free. You can download it from the link in the description of the stream. But I want to get through more of your comments. Mark Goldberg had a major meltdown, said Andy Kirkman. I don't blame him, to be fair. Ken said, now we can move past Bobby and on to Jota, Craig. Don't you think? I know now, don't get me going here, Carl, because I know me and you have a bit of back and forth over Bobby Firmino, mate. But what I've always said is the front three need pressure. Now we've got Takumi Minamino. Now we've got DIOGO Jota. We have that pressure there. Origi could be moving on. Shaqiri's still a valuable option there to Klopp as well if he can stay fit. Obviously, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's going to be staying at the club. He can play in a wide position as well. Just so many questions. Now, one thing that I want to address, because a lot of you guys asked this in the comment section of the Jota stream last night. You asked why Liverpool paid so much for DIOGO Jota but pulled away from the Timo Werner deal. Now, I tried to answer as many of them as I could in the chat, but it's a lot easier if I just address it on stream. And again, this is my opinion on this, so, just bear with me. I feel that at the time, Timo Werner's fee was a huge amount of money. Whether we had to pay that all up front or not, it was still a huge amount of money. Then you've got the wages as well on top of that. Now, people will say Thiago's on heavy wages. He is, but Thiago is, one of the best midfielders in the world. Timo Werner is going to be a very good forward. We couldn't afford it at the time, and we are talking about, 4 or 5 weeks ago at this moment in time, maybe a little bit longer or shorter, but it was a time where Liverpool didn't know how the season ahead was going to go with regards to fans inside stadiums, the Nike shirt, loads of stuff that was just uncertain. But mostly it was about the structure, because the way the deal for DIOGO JOTA from Wolves has been structured is that Liverpool are paying just under 10% of that fee up front, with the remainder of it over the course of his contract. The Timo Werner deal, we wouldn't have been able to get. That's why it was just basically about the structure of the deal, the timing of the deal, and the money. Which is why we were able to get Jota over the line, because Wolves are willing to accept that deal, the 10%, and then the rest. Same with Thiago. He's going to be £5 million per year over the 4 years of his contract at Liverpool, with another £5 million potentially in add-ons depending on bonuses and stuff like that as well. So, yeah, it's a great time, isn't it? What a time to be a Reds. I haven't even slept. Again, I'm basically working off 3 hours sleep in the past 2.5 days. I'm shattered. I'm buzzing. I'm excited. I'm ready for the game tomorrow. Anfield Agenda are also going to be unveiling our new signing on Monday, 8:30 as well. Don't miss that late night agenda. You're going to be meeting somebody who's going to be a part of Anfield Agenda, hopefully moving forward for a very long time. I think you guys will love them. Right, let me get through more of your comments as well. I'm using StreamYard for this one, by the way, so I'm a little bit out of my comfort zone with regards to pulling up comments and stuff, so bear with me 1 second. Michael Edwards is a transfer god to LFC Buckley. Absolutely. Somebody else said it's probably over his wages. It could be. I mean, the whole thing about the deal is how much up front, the fact that Chelsea were willing to come in and pay the fee as well, give him the wages that he wanted. It just was the wrong time, unfortunately. There's no denying that Klopp wanted Werner and Werner wanted to come to Liverpool, but Chelsea are the ones who put their hand in their pocket and got that deal over the line. A couple of people now asking about Kabak. We're going to get a centre-back. There have been strong links to this guy, and they've intensified over the past 24 hours. We don't know who he is. He plays for Schalke. I believe he joined them about a year ago. And somebody from the Schalke side came out recently to say that he's not for sale. The plans are to keep him there. But then again, late last night, one of the I can't remember which journalist it was, and this is bugging me, but one of the journalists put out there that publicly they're saying that he's not for sale, but privately a bid of around 25 or 30 million euro would get Kabak done. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't know much about this guy. I have watched Schalke, but it was mainly because we were linked to Weston McKennie at the time, and I was looking at them. But obviously, Kloppo's best mate being over there as manager still, there's probably a good line of communication there, and I'm sure that David Wagner would be giving Klopp a glowing reference if Klopp was asking him about the player. And a Jurgen Klopp wouldn't be interested in somebody who's a dud. We know that. But I want to ask you a question. Whoever we bring in as a centre-back option, should we be looking for somebody to come in and be fourth-choice centre-back, or should we be looking for somebody to go out there and really challenge for that position alongside Virgil van Dijk? Because we don't have to spend the sun, moon and stars. We've shown that in the way we've been clever in our recruitment. Jurgen Klopp could unearth a gem here, so I'm rather excited to see what we do in this centre-back position. What could we spend? Do you know what? If you asked me that a week ago, I would have said between 10 and 15 million max. But I think, again, it could depend on the structure of the deal. Now, we're not going to be going out there and signing Koulibaly, so don't be getting your hopes up. Even the likes of Upamecano, I would say, would be extremely unrealistic at this moment in time. But credit to the club, because they are solving the problems that we know are there. Thiago was a bit of a luxury that came along at the right time. Brilliant signing. Jota is something that we badly needed. We needed that forward. Sarr was the one that we all thought for a very long time. Liverpool went, inquired about Sarr, and they figured that they were quoted was ridiculous. Too high for Liverpool's liking. So then obviously Jota was the one we turned to. I spoke earlier on when I was talking to Dave about the fact that Pep Linders got a glowing reference when he went to his Portuguese contacts. He was a coach there at the underage level for Porto for years. I think 6 years working with Ruben Neves there. And he reached out to his contacts in Portugal and got nothing but a glowing reference on Diogo Jota, hence why he's a Liverpool player. Would you take Maguire or Lindelof? Absolutely no, mate. You can keep both of them. As I say, I still smile knowing that Kepa's the world's most expensive goalkeeper and that Harry Maguire is the world's most expensive defender. It's hilarious. Right, here's one. Thoughts on Brewster leaving? Personally, would love to keep him. He has great potential. Where's the rest of this? He's great potential, but if we sell a buyback clause, then fair enough. It's a difficult one. I love Raheem Brewster. I've got no doubts in Raheem Brewster's ability, and I've got no doubts that he's going to go on to be an excellent centre forward. I would have rather we loaned him out. If I was putting money on the table, I'd probably guess that he's going to go to Chris Wilder and Sheffield United. You did see that he liked the Instagram post suggesting that £25 million deal was going to happen. The buyback clause is great, but I just wonder, does it fill him full of potential or belief, that Liverpool really will buy him back? Because if you loan him, you think you're getting him back, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel right to me for Raheem Brewster to be sold. I would love to keep him at the club. But then again, I have to trust Jurgen Klopp and the recruitment team because they get very, very little wrong. But I'd love to know what you guys think on the potential sale of Raheem Brewster. It is good to know that the buyback clause will be there. But how often, how often have we gone and taken back players that have been out on loan and they've actually come in and fit in, let alone this structured deal where we'd be selling the player and go and have to buy him back? So I want to know what your thoughts are on it. Right, well, there's loads of Manchester United slagging in the chat, which is great. I mean, keep it coming. They deserve it as well. Loads of talk that they could be potentially challenging for the title this season for Manchester United fans. Go out and get whooped 3-1 at home by Crystal Palace, and deservedly whooped as well. Sell Origi instead. Origi is available, and that's been something that was put out there last night. It's just a matter of if we can get the money for Origi. Players that are available for Liverpool to sell: Origi, Shaqiri, Wilson, Grujic. We know that they're available if the right money comes in. Missed the super chat there from Rabadan. 1 second. I've said it before, but I love Roy Hodgson now. It's difficult to give Roy Hodgson praise, but that is 2 seasons in a row he's gone there and beat Manchester United 2-1 at Old Trafford. So credit where it's due. Where's this one? There was something else there. Only one of Origi or Brewster will leave, said Kate. It's the next Iniesta, in his opinion. I get where you're coming from there, mate. I don't disagree with you massively on that one either. This is going to probably be a point where Liverpool are going to have to try and start moving these bodies out for various reasons. One, because we obviously have the 25-man squad that we've got registered now. Younger players can come in under 21 and don't have to be listed in that. But it will be a period where we're going to try and move players on to free up money as well. Here's another one on Brewster. Rafa, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Said, would Brewster even come back if there was a buyout clause? The honest answer is, I don't know. It'll depend on how he gets on at Sheffield United or wherever he may end up. I suppose the optimistic part of me likes to think that, we'll get Raheem Brewster back. Maybe we have to pay an extra 5 or 10 million on top of what we paid Sheffield United. That's usually like the Reguilon deal that took him to Spurs today. I think there's a buyback clause in there for Real Madrid, and obviously they've got Gareth Bale on loan as well. So a lot of happy Spurs fans right now. And it is great to see Gareth Bale back in the Premier League. And I'd much rather see him at Spurs than see him end up somewhere like United, if I'm being honest, because I'm rather enjoying the meltdown from United fans right now, and rightly so, because they look at Michael Edwards and then they look at Ed Woodward, and it's like night and day, isn't it? Michael Edwards out there doing bits on the QT, and Ed Woodward just being a shambles as always. It's brilliant. You love to see it. What have we got? Somebody said I might be a bit late on this one, but was there a buyback clause on HOEVER? Thank you for the question, Isaac. No, there's no buyback clause in the deal. There is a 15% sell-on clause for Liverpool in the deal for Kylian HOEVER. So let's say, for instance, we get the 13.5 million with the add-ons from right now, and Wolves sell him down the line to a Manchester City, let's say, for 50 million quid. Liverpool potentially looking at 20 million then in total for a player that they paid something like 90 grand for when he came in. Another question: Liverpool, you never walk alone. So do you think Salah will become our top scorer this season? Yes, I do. I think the man is on a mission. You could see it from the opening day. He feels slighted. Now, I don't know this, but this is how it comes across to me, by missing out on the PFA Player of the Year last year, even the short list for it, and not being included in the Team of the Year. So I think Mohamed Salah has got a point to prove this season. I think us Liverpool fans are going to see the best of him. Mark said 46,700 subs now. Boom. Love it. Keep hitting that subscribe button. We are on the road to 50k, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we'll hit the 47,000 subscriber mark during the game against Chelsea tomorrow, or just before or after it. Again, I really appreciate all the support that you guys have given Anfield Agenda. It's amazing to see where we are. Jake Mann said 2 fantastic signings. Nope, this is a different one. Chaotic. No, that's the wrong one. Where's Jake's one gone? 2 fantastic signings, Thiago and Jota. It is, mate. They're absolutely brilliant signings, and it's great that the club brought them in. Right, I'm going to take another 4 or 5 questions, and then we'll finish up for the night, folks. This was supposed to be my day off, but, Liverpool are out there doing business, so I had to come on and I had to share the happy news with you guys. Yeah, it's great. I'm over the moon. The last 24, 48 hours, I've just been going around with a smile on my face. Right, Carl has a super chat. So I can't wait for this video to end and you to come back on and announce Mbappe deal done. Let's have a repeat of that coming straight back on. If only. Mbappe's never going to be coming to Liverpool, folks. So unfortunately, we're going to have to just get over that one. Are we loaning Brewster out or selling him? Both are on the table from what I can gather. the part of me that makes me think it'll be a permanent deal for Brewster is the fact that he likes that Instagram post suggesting that he's going to go to Sheffield United for £25 million. I would rather a loan, definitely would rather a loan, but if the club need to free up money, I could understand them maybe cashing in. Love the work rate, said Carl Rimmer. Thank you, buddy. I mean, it's not work, though. It's a pleasure. I love coming on here and talking to you guys. So if I could live stream 24 hours a day, folks, I probably would. But you know what? I'm going to call it a night for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It was supposed to be the day off. But look, before I finish up, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the video as well. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m., half an hour before the Reds kick off against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge for what is a mouth-watering game already at this point in the season. I'll be doing full commentary on that game for you guys as well. Make sure you've got your notifications turned on. I hope to see you guys over in the Flick chat later on because I'm going to be over there this evening sharing my thoughts on a few bits and pieces. So as I said, there is a link in the description. Don't forget to click on that and come over and join the party. Also, memberships of Anfield Agenda are open. If you want to become a member, it's $4.99 a month. Members get the Anfield Agenda badge beside their name, loads of custom emojis. They get into our exclusive Discord group as well, and a few other bits and pieces along the way. But look, ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you to go and enjoy your Saturday, you absolute bunch of legends. I love each and every one of you guys, and wherever in the world you're watching, I hope that you're safe. I hope that your families are well. And look, it's a great time to be a Red. Jota's a Red. Thiago's a Red. We're Premier League champions. We're world champions. Soak it in, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy it. Go out there, brag to your mates, and just take the piss because it's a great time to be a Red. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the Chelsea game. Up the Reds. Love to you all. Take care.